Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is High Desert Fibers, a place where I am going to be talking about my numerous hobbies, some might say too numerous, which includes knitting, spinning, sewing, gardening, and whatever else I am hyperfixating on at the moment. What I'm wearing today is my Levitate wrap in a size large. I knit this using the Wandering Flock DK in the color Rust, and then the Pluma held with Pluma from Nomad Yarns, which is a lace weight Surrey alpaca that comes undyed, and I dyed it myself using Madder Root and Kutch, which are two natural dyes, and I love the way the drape turned out on this. It's funny. I'm obsessed with this. I will definitely be making another Levitate wrap, probably in a smaller size for a little bit less ease, but I've worn this. I finished this beginning of March. It's March 30th as I'm filming this today. I finished this early March and I think I've worn it once a week since then. I'm obsessed with it. It's cozy and warm, but still looks like nice, so I really like that vibe. And yeah, I love it a lot. Today I want to talk about my spring making plans. So I want to talk about spring knitting, spring spinning, sewing, maybe a little bit of gardening, but I'll keep that part short. So let's get started. I'm going to first talk about knitting, and there are I want to make two last sweaters before the seasons really change. Where I'm at, spring is still pretty chilly, so you could get away with wearing a sweater probably until like around Memorial Day. So the first plan that I have is to use some of my own hand spun. So I got a fleece, a whole unwashed raw fleece from a fiber festival last year from Molly. This is what her undyed spun fleece looks like. This was really fun to do, but I knew I wasn't gonna wear this color close to my face. It's a beautiful color. I think it's just too close to my skin tone. So I dyed it using acid dyes into this almost, I feel like it's kind of in between a teal and a navy. Like it's definitely more on the navy side. It's definitely more blue than a teal, but I've got 1,211.1 yards of this. It's about a DK weight. It's a little thick and thin here and there. I spun this completely woolen style, so a lot of air in here. I spun it straight from the bat that I made myself. So I think what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna make the Farmland sweater by Coco Amore. I love this sweater since I first saw it. And I think the gauge will work really, really well for this. I think the gauge is 17 stitches per 4 inches on a size 8, which I did do a swatch and I can very firmly get that gauge after blocking. So I think that's what I'm gonna use this for. And I'm super excited. This will be the first sweater I've ever knit with my hand spun, which is very exciting. Okay, the Farmland sweater is by Coco Amore. It calls for a worsted weight yarn with a gauge of 17 stitches by 26 rows on a US size 7. I got that on a size 8, so I'm just gonna use a size 8. This pattern comes in 11 sizes up to I can't look at the camera when I'm looking at here. Up to a bust, to fit an actual bust circumference of 150 centimeters with 20 centimeters of positive ease. I don't know what that is in inches. I'm American, but I don't know what that is in inches. So that's that one. Okay, and then the next sweater plan I have, I don't actually have the yarn for with me. It is in the mail. It is yarn from Coley at Paisley Knits that I ordered from her Taylor Swift Eras collection back in September. It's in the color Vigilante Shit, and I ordered the non-superwash fingering, I think, and the Surrey alpaca. And I don't think I can wait to cast on a sweater once that gets here in about a week because I've been waiting for it for so long and I'm so excited about it. So I've got 2 different ideas for this. I'm thinking either the matcha sweater by Vert Knit, which just came out, lots of 1x1 twist of rib, which I think looks really nice, or I'm thinking the Astrid sweater from Pernille Larsen. I really like both of these and I think I have enough to do both. I really love the hem detail on the Astrid sweater. I love that curve. So we'll see which one really strikes me when the yarn gets here, but I'm so over the moon excited about that. By the time I finish it, it'll probably be too warm to wear, but then it'll be ready when fall comes and we get those first crisp fall days, and I cannot wait. The Astrid sweater calls for a DK weight. The sample is knit with DK weight. Its sample is knit with Knitting for Olive Merino and Soft Silk Mohair. That's not what I'm going to be using. The gauge is 20 stitches by 29 rows per 4 inches on a size 7. I feel like that's actually pretty tight, and especially since the yarn I'm going to be holding is a Surrey, it's not a mohair, and Surrey tends to be like a lot fluffier. I think I can probably play around with the gauge a little bit. This comes in sizes from extra small to 5XL, and the finished sizes range from a 41 inch to a 59 3/4 inch chest measurement. And the recommended ease is, doesn't say what the recommended ease is. The recommended ease is about 9 to 11 inches of positive ease. That's the Astrid sweater. Okay, and then into some more seasonally appropriate knits. I've got 3 t-shirts. The first one is, I'm looking at my iPad that I have my notes on. The first tee I want to knit is the Calm Down sweater by Lily Kate France in this yarn that I got from Joanne, Rip Joanne, 24/7 cotton from Lion Brand in the color Cafe au Lait. Hopefully that's focused. I really love this brown color. So I'm thinking that I want to do that. This is inspired by oh gosh, now why can't I remember her name? Marlene from Marlene Knits. She didn't knit the Calm Down tee, she knit the Feels Right tee in a very like similar brown tone, and I just loved the way that looked. And when I saw this at Joanne, I really loved the color. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. The Calm Down tee calls for a DK weight yarn. The label on this claims that it's a worsted weight yarn, but when I checked the wraps per inch with my spinner control card, or spinner control thing, this is like solidly at 12 wraps per inch, which is a DK weight yarn. So I think that this will work just fine, and I've got 6 balls of this. I just realized I should probably be telling people the details of these. Back to the Calm Down tee. So I want to knit it in this. It calls for a DK weight yarn. It comes in a lot of sizes to fit a bust from 28 inches at the smallest size to 62 inches at the largest size. The gauge is 21 stitches by 28 rows per 4 inches on a size 6mm needle. So I think as far as knit t-shirts go, this one will probably go pretty fast because the gauge is a little bit looser than something like a fingering weight tee, which I'm going to talk about next. You can work bust darts in this t-shirt, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm not sure if I'll need to work the bust darts, but I think that's a really great option. And let's see. I really like the saddle shoulder semi-contiguous construction on this, and the more set in sleeve look as compared to something like tee number 1 from My Favorite Things Knitwear, which I've made before, which is a saddle shoulder, but it's pretty like dramatically drop shoulder. So I'm excited to have a little bit more of like a baby tee vibe in this DK weight yarn. that's the plan for that. Okay, 2 more t-shirts to talk about. My next t-shirt plan is to make the Lunity by Charissa on Ravelry in this beautiful hand-dyed yarn from, it says right there, Little Fiber Co. This is from her desserts collection? Her dessert collection, I believe. In the colorway Fragrant. This is merino sock, 85% non-superwash merino, 15% mulberry silk with 492 yards. I'm obsessed with this color, and I'm planning to knit the Lunity. This is a tee knit in broken rib with a 22.5 stitch by 36 row gauge per 4 inches in the broken rib on a US size 6 again, which I didn't realize this is on a US size 6, just like the Calm Down tee is. So I think this will also go relatively fast. The gauge doesn't look too tight when I'm just looking at the sample photos. So I think this will be a good transitional piece as it gets just a tiny bit warmer, not quite, just like full cotton t-shirt summer weather. And the rest of the specs for this for this pattern, there are 14 sizes ranging from to fit a bust of 28.4 to 61.2 inches, and it's designed to be worn with 0 to 2 inches of negative ease. I think I'm probably going to make the size that corresponds with either the 38.4 inch bust or the 40 inch bust, just depending on how much negative ease I want. I knit the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Maed, and I chose the wrong size. I knit this last summer and I chose the wrong size. I'm gonna knit it again this summer, and there was like way too much positive ease, so I almost feel like I should maybe size down so that I definitely get positive ease, but we'll see about that. That's up next. And then my final knitting plan for the spring is the Rumble Raglan by Lydia Morrow. It's a really fun 2x2 color work raglan. It's very like retro vibes, which I really like. And I like that in her sample photo, she used a variegated yarn, which I think is pretty cool. But then there's also 2 other samples in the pattern photos that are made with 3 colors. So I'm planning on doing the 3 color version with these 3 yarns. The first one being from Archaic Fibers. I bought this at Jimmy Bean's Wool in Reno, Nevada, in the colorway Overboard. This is their Fremont sock base, 75% superwash BFL. I love BFL. 25% nylon, 464 yards per 100 grams. And then I feel like this one's really the star of the show. This is from Superglow Fiber from her Chapel Roan collection in the color My Kink is Karma, which is my favorite song from Chapel's album. And it's this beautiful variegated, and it's just got all the colors that I love. It's got navy-ish blue, some brighter blues, and then kind of a rusty corally pink orange, which is one of my favorite colors. This is in the Super Sock base, 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 437 yards per 100 grams. And then finally, the third color I want to hold with it is this yarn from Ryan Yarns in the color Brick by Brick. This is in the Twist Sock base, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 400 yards per gram. And I think this is gonna be really fun. Here, let me get the labels all turned out. I think this is gonna be really fun. And I think I'm gonna cast on the Rumble Raglan in this color combination and then the Farmland sweater like today. I need to swatch with this first. I'm really hoping this works out. This is a much bolder color combination than I've ever worked with before. And it's the first time I've ever knit a garment with a variegated hand-dyed yarn. I originally bought this to make socks, but I loved the way that the variegated yarn looked in the samples so much that I think I'm gonna try and use this. Okay, some specs on the Rumble Raglan. This comes in 9 sizes, equivalent from a UK 4 to a UK 34, designed to fit a chest or upper bust measurement from 31 inches to 57 inches. And this one also comes with bust shaping. So if there's a bigger difference between your upper bust and your full bust, I think it'll be a really nice fit, or you could get a really nice fit. And let's see, how much ease is this supposed to be? Okay, it does mention that stretch percentage is very important for this project and that you should have 170% stretch in your swatch, which is crazy. That's a lot of stretch. For comparison, most like stretchy t-shirts have about 70% stretch. Okay, just based off of the stretch percentage that Lady Mara wants you to have, it looks like this could be knit with 6 inches of negative ease, which I do really love how much negative ease the sample photos have. I think it just like looks really fun and really nice. And I think this will specifically be, I think, for colder days because this is color work. So it's going to be like a double stranded fabric. But this and the farmland sweater, I think, are what I'm most excited to cast on. So I think I'm definitely going to do a gauge swatch for the Rumble Raglan tonight. Now on to sewing. The first plan I have is to make an apron. I need an apron for when I'm processing and spinning fleece because it just has a tendency to get everywhere. And then also for like if I'm gardening or dyeing yarn, I just want something I can throw on that can get dirty and I don't really care. So I've got this fun cow print canvas. I think I have 2 yards of this. So I'm planning on making an apron. I can't remember what the pattern's called, but it's free. It'll be here. That's my first plan. My second plan is to make the bonnet shirt. But the bonnet shirt dress specifically. This was inspired by a dress I saw on the Sézane website. Put it here. And I love it, but I'm not gonna pay that much money for that. It's beautiful. It's made out of wool and silk. I am going to make it out of this fabric that I got from Lyrical Fabrics online in this very nice gray color. This is a hemp and cotton blend. So I still think it's gonna have, especially after it's washed, the drape of something like silk, but at a much more affordable price point and something that I can put in the washing machine and not be worried about. So I'm gonna make the bonnet shirt in View B with some alterations. So this is by Daughter Judy. Instead of making this a midi length dress, this is gonna be not a mini dress, but it's definitely gonna be above the knee. Daughter Judy has 2 different size ranges for their sewing patterns. They have the DD size range and the JJ size range. So this pattern has been graded from a 0 all the way up to a 34. So from a chest measurement of 30.5 inches to 56 inches. And there is some positive ease in this pattern, or a waist measurement of 25.5 inches all the way up to 56.25 inch. I'm very excited about this. This will be the first Daughter Judy pattern I've sewn. I've got this and then 2 other of their patterns in my pattern library, and I just haven't broken into the fabric yet. So I'm really excited to make this. In the Sézane photos, they've got it styled for more of a fall look, I think, with some like over the knee boots, which I think is really cute and will be really fun for the fall. But in the spring, I can see myself wearing this with sandals or just like tennis shoes, specifically like sneakers, not like running shoes, like sneakers. I've got a pair of Rothy's that I really love that I think this will be really cute with. To keep on the Daughter Judy train, the second item that I wanted to sew this spring is the coat trouser. These are a barrel leg, or like more of a subtle barrel leg trouser that I want to make out of this black denim that I got from Nick of Time Textiles. I prefer a black bowl denim, which just means that instead of when the fabric is woven, instead of having one white strand or thread and then a black strand, they're all black. So I'll probably end up dyeing these pants after I make them so that they're like a solid black and not so variegated. I mean, they're not variegated, but so there's no white. I don't want to see any white. And I think I'm also going to do a hack that Daughter Judy has talked about on their Substack, where instead of doing the slanted trouser pocket, I'm going to use the pockets from the Worship jeans. So it'll be a jean style pocket, so just like regular pockets instead of that slanted trouser pocket. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make the belt yet. I haven't decided. I do wear belts quite often, but I have not decided yet if I'm going to do that. Okay, and then this pattern comes in the same size range as the bonnet shirt does, so from 0 all the way up to a 34. Daughter Judy is very size inclusive, and according to Sonly Fans, who is my favorite Instagram maker, I will link her Instagram page down below. She makes a lot of pants, and we share a very similar lower body type, and she has nothing but good things to say about the Daughter Judy patterns. So I'm very excited to sew these. This will also be my first attempt at a hard pant. So stay tuned to see how that goes. The last garment sewing project that I have planned is a pair of chanterelle pants by Sew Liberated. This pattern comes in 3 different views. So a wide leg pant, a more tapered, again slightly barrel leg pant, and then a pair of shorts. This pattern comes graded in sizes 0 to 34, so a waist of 25 inches to 52.5 inches and a hip of 33.5 inches to 61 inches. I'm going to make view B, which is the more tapered barrel leg pant. I'm a little apprehensive about this. I already have this pattern, which is why I'm giving it another try, but last summer I did make the shorts view of this pattern, and those shorts had 2 problems. The first being the fit. So there's a lot of ease built into this pattern, and I had seen some people review it on Instagram and say that, you know, they sized down because of how much ease there is. So I initially sized down to a 16. My measurements at the time put me at about a size 20. So I sized down to a 16, and they were so cute. I don't have any pictures of them for the reason that I'll get to in a second. They were very cute, except the crotch was way too deep, even as a size 16. I've got my natural waist, the smallest part of my waist, is pretty high up. It's like almost right underneath my rib cage, about an inch or 2 above my belly button. So that's where I tend to like to wear pants, or at least high-waisted pants. That's most comfortable for me. Even when wearing them up that high on my body, there was still, like, between my crotch and the crotch of these shorts, probably a good 2 inches. So my thighs were still like chafing and rubbing together inside the short, which was pretty uncomfortable and I think kind of weird. The second reason that those shorts didn't work out is because I used a double cotton gauze from Nick of Time Textiles. I wanted these shorts to be very like airy and flowy, and that fabric did not hold up under friction. I wore these shorts one time for about 3 hours, and they completely fell apart at the inner thigh and crotch, like unsalvageable. And even from sitting down, they like ripped where the back pockets were sewn in. So they got a single wear, which was pretty disappointing. So I won't be using that double gauze again for pants, maybe for tops because I've got some left over. But if you know of a double cotton gauze that can hold up to some friction, some sweat, please let me know, because I love that fabric, but that specific brand did not work for these pants. So what I've done since then is and another fit thing that I didn't like about the shorts was I got a severe case of Hungry Bum. I had a major wedgie while wearing these shorts, And that can be due to the way that the crotch curve is drafted. So I've gone in and scooped out some of the crotch curve. So instead of like a shallow curve, I've made the curve a little bit deeper on the back pants pattern. And I've also shortened the rise of the pants by 1 inch. So hopefully that'll help. If that doesn't, I think then I'm gonna move on from this pattern and maybe try the lane pants. So hopefully that works. I think I'm gonna make a size 14 this time, as my body's changed a little bit since last summer. There should still be plenty of ease, and I'm going to use this linen cotton blend fabric, again from Nick of Time Textiles. They've got really great deals. So hopefully this holds up a little bit better than the double cotton gauze that I had purchased last summer. I think it will. I mean, this is hardier than a double cotton gauze. So that's my last garment plan. Now, complete last sewing plan is a quilt, and I have no delusions that I'm gonna get, excuse me, get a king size quilt finished in the spring. That is not my goal. I know this is gonna take a long time, but I want to make a king size prickly pear quilt by Susan Holland. This is a very beautiful quilt. Here it is. This is going to only be my 3rd ever quilt, but I already know that I love it so much that I really want to make a king size one for my bed. And I've picked out these fabrics. These two are just Moda? No, these are Art Gallery Fabrics Pure Solids in white, and then I can't remember what color this is. If I can find it, I'll put it up. And then for my accent fabrics, I chose a few different ones. These 3 are from the Art Gallery Fabrics Tumbleweed collection. I thought this was very fitting since this is a cactus. The pattern is named after a cactus, and tumbleweeds are a very desert item. So those are some of my contrast colors. And then this last contrast fabric is also from Art Gallery Fabrics. They've got a lot of really good prints. And this is from the Kindred collection. This is an iCat print. And then there is one more contrast fabric that I need to find. I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from one of the samples from Sharon Holland's Instagram, and I need a pink. I initially ordered a pink when I ordered these fabrics. I got these all from Fat Quarter Shop? Fat Quarter Shop, I think. And I don't love pink, despite the fact that I'm wearing something somewhat pink today. And the pink just was way too bubblegummy when it showed up. I'll use that for something different. Like, I have a friend whose baby daughter is turning 1 year old this year, so maybe I'll make her something with that bubblegum pink fabric. So I still need to source a fabric that's a little bit softer, a little bit peachier maybe, that fits the vibe of these fabrics here. Okay, we're almost done. The last thing I want to talk about is spinning. I've got 2 spinning plans. I'm only going to talk about one here because I'm planning on doing a whole video series about the other spinning that I want to do this spring, so keep a lookout for that. But I want to finish spinning this beautiful Romney wool. Here it is. I've already spun up a little bit of this. This is a 2-ply DK weight. This is about 60 grams. And I'm spinning this long draw, so woolen style spinning. But this is I believe this is worsted style prep, I think. It's definitely not, this is a farm fiber. This is from and I don't know exactly which farm it's from, but it's from a local Romney flock to the Olympic Peninsula in Washington. I bought this at Bizarre Girl Yarns in Port Townsend, Washington. And it's not it's not as like smooth as a commercial combed top is. So I think this is a worsted prep fiber, but I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm spinning it woolen style. So I'm spinning it long draw, which I've had a really nice time doing. And I'm getting a semi-woolen DK weight yarn. I have not checked how much yardage I got for this 60 grams yet. I will do that when I'm completely done spinning, I think. And I'm not gonna get to knitting this anytime soon, but I did want to get it spun because I've had it for almost a year. I think I'm going to eventually, and this could change, make the Farnham sweater by the Knit Pro Girl, but I'll talk about that more when I get to it. And finally, I wanted to talk about some fiber-related gardening plans that I have. I'm not an expert gardener by any means, but I am enthusiastic, and if there's one thing I love to do in relation to like my crafting and my making, it's fuck around and find out. I learn best by doing, and I don't feel like if it doesn't work, it's not wasted. At least I learned something. So this is the first year. I recently moved into a house that I rent, but I have a backyard for the first time. So I've got a few large garden beds that I built with the help of a friend who knows how to use power tools better than I do. And I've got some very ambitious plans for those garden beds. The first ambitious plan is I want to grow my own flax. So I bought some flax seeds from outsidepride.com. Flax is the plant that linen comes from. So my plan is to use an entire garden bed to just grow some flax. I'm sorry if you can hear that. To just grow some flax. And then I plan to harvest that flax and process it so that I get linen. And then hopefully spin. I would really like to blend. So there's two different types of linen fibers that you get from a flax plant. You get line weight linen, which is the very long, like full height of the linen plant or of the flax plant strands of linen fiber. And then there's also inevitably going to be some shorter bits of fiber that you get during the processing. My plan is to, I think, blend the shorter staple length linen with some wool on my drum carder and do a like wool linen blend, and then maybe use the line linen to just spin a pure 100% linen yarn. This is very ambitious. Jillian Eve from Jillian Eve, and I can't remember her name, but the Engineering Knits have both done this. So I'm very excited about this plan in particular. Oh, there's a cat at my door. I'm also planning on growing some cotton just to like find out. I've got those plants going already, and I threw away the seed packets, but I'm gonna try growing brown and white cotton, Mississippi brown, and then Spinner's Ivory cotton. And also, again, processing that myself and maybe doing a linen cotton blend or a woolen linen blend. And then finally, I've got some ambitious goals for growing my own dye plants. I'm really going overboard with this gardening season, but I just can't resist. So I've got some seeds for some different dye plants. First being Tango Cosmos, which result in like a really nice orange, a beautiful orange flower. So they're also going to be pretty, and will result in an orange-ish dye. Blue Butterfly Pea, which is a flower that I really love. I think this results in like a purple. Dyer's Chamomile, which will be a yellow dye. And then I've got Japanese Indigo, which will be blue. So I'm also going to have to learn how to extract my own indigo pigment, which I'm pretty excited about. And then finally, this dye won't be ready for a while, but it's Madder. Madder produces a really beautiful red, a beautiful like naturally red dye, but you can't harvest the dye from the roots until the plant is like 2 or 3 years old. So I'm gonna get started now, and then in 2 to 3 years, I'm gonna have some beautiful red dye to dye fiber with. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today as I talked through my spring making plans. I would love to know what you all are planning on making this spring. And if anybody has knit the Rumble Raglan, please let me know. I would love to see it. I'm very excited about this. I think we're gonna go swatch for this now. And I hope you're having a good day wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.